Charlie Vietch, what a friggin' genius. And if you see what's going on from the perspective I'm seeing, you'd see how friggin' genius he is. And but then I see the genius in what's his name? Charles Manson. I mean, that guy is a friggin' genius. And Charlie is too a friggin' genius. He proves my point perfectly. So I'm going to put a link below, and you can look at Charlie's video. What has happened? Here is this loving being that's just love police, and let's make sure there's lots of love on the planet. And being an innocent, loving being, which you put yourself out there and you start getting yourself famous in any way, shape, or form, people are going to tear you down. Especially if you're going to say love. As soon as you say love, people are going to have a huge standard they expect from you. You can't fuck up, because the minute you fuck up, you're going to get more hate. The equal level of love you're trying to put out there is the level of hate that's going to come at you. If you do one thing wrong, if you are a loving being and you really, really, truly show the example of what a loving being actually looks like, then you're going to get a globe hating you. So he's turned into what everybody wants in this video anyways, and he's done this a few times. He's played this character so that you can understand the mindset of your enemy. And this one is pretty good. He's trying to show you that if you want to see me as an evil person, then I'll show up and be the evil person that you want me to be. You want to see that I'm part of the elites and the Rockefellers and everything that's wrong, well, then I'll admit I'm not going to fight you. So if this is what you want to label him to be, then he will be that. That's what we do. You call something stupid, stupid will show up. You call Charlie an unloving being, well, he's going to start acting unloving like. Perfectly. So it's like he went and did this a documentary for BBC on 9/11. He ended up, I mean, you can only tell by the things that he focused on his videos. Why did he focus on those? Because those things were the most relevant to him. And somebody made the suggestion that those buildings could have come down with kinetic energy, which, yes, that is a possibility. Could have come down in a lot of different ways, but let's prove it. Just because a possibility is there doesn't mean it's proven. But it opened his mind up to a possibility that, hey, maybe something else happened. And then the next thing he talks about is sitting and having a conversation with a man who lost his wife in a plane that supposedly went through the Pentagon. Now, if I was a loving being and I walked in Charlie Vietch's shoes, I'd be doing exactly the same Charlie's doing. You would hate me just as much as you hate Charlie, because I would have had my heartstrings. Mind you, I knew a little bit too much about 9/11 not to have that happen to me, because I would have asked that guy who lost his wife in a plane that went through the Pentagon, well, where's the plane? How come there was no plane that went through that building? How did you lose your wife? I would have had conversations like that. But Charlie admits he wasn't really into the 9/11 conspiracy thing. He didn't have he's not well read on the investigations and the evidence that everybody else has. He clearly admitted, I really wasn't that into it. He knew something was wrong. He's admitting something is definitely wrong. That's his whole campaign. But he's focusing on trying to build the love experience instead of the hate experience. That's what he's been doing. So it's not surprising that if he goes into this BBC, that somebody makes a suggestion, he's going to be open-minded to it, because we all need to be open-minded if we really, really, really want to find truth. But being an open mind doesn't mean you have to be stupid either. And I would have, if I was dealing with the same lack of information as Charlie was when he was having a conversation with that guy who lost his wife, I would have had a lot of compassion. That would have influenced me to believe more that it was more kinetic energy than it was Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, clearly, there was a lot of conversations that had that being a loving being with an open mind, he was susceptible to believing another truth and just simply shared it. But then the level of hate that came at him, I mean, that is so friggin' painful. That's where I really don't want to be famous for anything that I know. I wouldn't want to go towards fame at all, because as soon as you make one mistake, your friends will turn on you, and that level of pain, that energy of hate and pain, does have an effect on the body. So he can feel on basically all of these truthers, all of these people that have been fans of the Love Police, that have sent him any emails of hate, know that you just sent bullets to him. Bullets that kill. Because that's what it is. It is an energy wave that has the potential to kill another. You can create heart attacks doing that. You get that many people showing that much anger towards you, and the person is a loving being and doesn't know how to handle that, that has the potential to kill. Now, you send that level of hate to somebody that has no heart, that hasn't got the compassion like Charlie has, well, that feeds them. That's their food. They love that. They know how to react with that. Charlie doesn't, because he's a loving being. But being a loving being and trying to really understand the level of hate that's coming out there, he's trying to show everybody in this video that's listed below, that if you want to see something hateful in me, then I'll show up and be hateful. It's up to you to decide. You have free will. You can see me as a loving being, or you can see me as an evil being. It depends on what you will see, whatever it is you want to see. And I will show up to be whatever it is you want me to show up to be. So if you want Charlie to be this big evil guy, you'll turn into that. And he's kind of letting you know you're going to create that. You're going to create the chaos because of all of your, you're so looking for a conspiracy when there is none. You know, there is some things that are going on. There's a lot of things that are wrong. And are people doing what they can to manipulate and make themselves profitable? You pick anybody that's successful, anybody that goes into any university, and they will all do the same. They will do whatever they can to manipulate their world so that their bank accounts are big. We're all doing the same thing. So is it a conspiracy? Well, if it is a conspiracy at the top, it's the same conspiracy at the bottom. We're all doing the same thing. They're just better at it than us. You know, but we have the free will, like in this video. You have free will to buy their technology, to buy all of their, you know, can't solve your heart problem, get a pacemaker. You know, we put so many band-aids on so many problems. Why? Because we want band-aids instead of solving our problems. I've seen more people say, well, we know how to do the right thing, we just choose not to. I made a video yesterday about this drug trial company. You know, they were looking at gout and what kind of medication they can create for gout, and I'm offering them a cure and say, well, you know, that's curable. And they go, well, we know it's curable. You know, it's diet, it's exercise, it's this, it's that. They had a lot of things you could do naturally to get rid of gout, but these people that are creating all of the drugs are saying people don't want to do the right thing. People don't want to eat right. So we've got to give them a pill because that's the best thing we can do for them. And it's like, yeah. So are the pharmaceutical world, you know, is there a conspiracy that they're only after profit when they've acknowledged, yeah, we know that there is the right thing, but people don't want to do the right thing. So we're going to be the evil guy and save them in whatever way we can with a pill. So it's not so. Now you can get into patterns within patterns in the Mandrabot set, and you know, people cannot do the right thing because of the way society is structured. She's going to say eating right foods will get rid of gout. Well, you can't necessarily eat the right foods with Monsanto's owning seeds, and our food is now poisoned. So eating food now is not actually the healthy way to do it because we've destroyed our food. So it's basically, you got to get farmers being farmers. How did farmers lose their farms? Well, the big corporate structure thought that they were better, stole all the farms using a justice system and the economic system, got them to buy things that they couldn't afford, so they would have a debt that they couldn't pay, so that they could lose their farm that's been in their families for generations. So it's like we've always been tempted into making more money. Farmers were tempted into making more money because if I got a bigger combine, I can farm faster and not pay, laborers to do the job. So while they were so greedy, farmers, to go for that, they had the free will to turn against these big, huge investments that would make them profit more. They had the free will to say no, but they bought into it. And because they took the action chose to go into debt, they noticed that it was a big corporation that fooled them into buying something they couldn't afford and then couldn't pay their bank loan. So instead of the farmer taking responsibility, the farmer says, hey, it was the big corporate industrial world that did this to me. They are responsible for, me losing my farm. And it's the farmer that got greedy. I got a farmer in my family. The ones that think that they know everything and they're criticizing me all the time, it's because I'm pointing out that you're freaking greedy people. This guy's a farmer. He wanted to be a farmer all his life. It's in his blood. But what is he? He's part of that big corporate structure. He was the one that sold Massey Ferguson equipment and got rich enough to buy his own freaking farm. So, you can see this game play out all the time. Um, there's so many good messages in what Charlie is saying in that video. It may look like it's really evil, but he is telling you that you have the choice to be love. You have the choice, you have free will not to buy into that structure. He's letting you know that, if you want to fight and get peace, it ain't going to happen. You're going to destroy yourselves and you're going to destroy your world. You are the destroyer of your own world, not these elites. You're choosing to be in hate and not love. And that's all Charlie's video is basically about, is you've got the free will. You can see Charlie as a loving person or you can see Charlie as a hateful person. You will see what it is you want to see. But if you think fighting is a way of getting peace, that's a contradiction, because fighting is not peace. And that is one of the points he made in this video, is that you're going to fight for peace and to destroy yourself in the process. So it is like in your face to all truthers that you're hateful beings. You want to see conspiracy when there is no conspiracy. Is there something wrong with 9/11? Did some people plan and profit from them? Yes. But you can see the exact same plan going on with farming. And you can see that with anybody that has any money in their bank account right now is doing the exact same thing. Um, so, I mean, who's the one that's even being manipulated into this technology world? The elites are the ones that are the sickest, that have the lack of love. So to heal somebody that has no love, you give them more no love, or do you give them love? Love is the cure of everything. Understanding why is it they needed to blow that up, why is it they needed to create a war, why is it they need to have all of that money, why, when you go into the absolute root cause of everything, then you gain understanding, then you get some compassion, then you know what it is you need to heal. It ain't the money thing, it's the lack of love thing. But it's like as if every single human on this planet is filled with this much hate towards a love police, something's wrong with humanity. Something's wrong with those at the bottom that are doing a lot of complaining, and you're filled with way too much hate that you are not going to solve any problems going down the direction you're at. So it's like game on. If you want the war to increase, hate your enemy. Make enemies out of each other. Let's hate each other. That's what we're doing. That's all it is. Because we're hating everybody. We're family. And yet we're hating each other. So, anyways, I think it was an interesting video. Charlie has done this many times before, and all he does is he does that to try and wake you up, for you to see a totally different perspective. And he said it right there, is that I love to mess with your mind. Because you know what? Every one of those truthers that are sending hate mail are messing with his mind. So he's going to mess with your mind back. And he did a really good job because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are really confused and don't know what to think. And this probably escalated your hate, but that's what you wanted, is to escalate your hate. If you were a really loving being, you would see the love in that message and not the hate in that message. Again, send Charlie some love. That's all he's asking for. Peace out.